All right. I don't know how to start this. It's weird looking at a camera. It's hard. It's like getting out of your comfort zone. It's doing something different. I just gotta start. Um, so how's it going? My name is Pat or Patrick. Most of my friends call me Pat. I don't know if that matters as much right now. Mainly, who am I? What am I doing? What's the purpose of this video right now? And I don't really know. I don't know what the purpose is. I might not even upload it. I don't know. I think the purpose is to get in a better habit of talking, speaking publicly, getting a little more confident. And that's the purpose of the video itself. That's the purpose of taking the video itself. The purpose of any channel, if I were to ever make this a channel at all, would be to kind of go through my journey of currently where I am professionally and where I want to get to. Before I get into what I do and what I want to do, I guess I'll just talk a little bit about my, I want to say inspiration, but it's and I hate using the word motivation because I believe motivation eventually dies out. You know, we become motivated and then our motivation just falls off a little bit. So I much more prefer drive. Drive, I think, is a little bit of a better term to use. What drives you? What continues your goal in motion to get to where you want to be, right? I think that's a more meaningful word to me. So yeah, basically, I have had some revelations and some thoughts recently just about where I am professionally and trying to think for the future and think about the current state of the economy and the fact that I'm getting married just in, holy shit, just in under 2 months now, which is crazy because that time is flying by so fast. And me and my fiance, we have already gone through the journey of trying to get a house, and unfortunately we failed. And that's fine. You know, failure is part of everything. We learn so much along the way that's only going to help us, you know, in the future try and get a house. But, you know, where I'm at right now, the job I'm actually physically doing, while it pays well, while it pays nice, it's not fulfilling. I'm in a field that I absolutely don't like. I absolutely hate it, and I need a change. I don't know if what I need is a new company or if I need just a full 180 career change, right? So anyway, back onto my drive. I've never been much of a reader, right? My dad, he's a huge reader, and I've always kind of admired that about him. And so, you know, I personally like having books around me. I like going to the bookstore. I like browsing around. I like, you know, shopping around, blah, blah, blah. But one thing that I haven't actually physically practiced enough in my life up until recent has been actually physically reading. And to expand on that, it's not just reading, you know, the sci-fi fiction fantasy novels that you know, that my dad has always primarily read and kind of tried to introduce me into, and don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but I still, similar to my job almost, I never felt fulfilled after reading those types of books. So most recently I picked up a book. It's called The Slight Edge. You may have heard of it, you may not have. The one-liner of the book is explaining the principle of the slight edge, which basically means that as long as you continually do the correct thing over a long period of time, the effort and the work that you put in will compound on an upward curve towards success. I think that's what I'm going for. Now, I haven't finished the book yet, but I am basically right there. I think I only have like 3 chapters left. And I would say it's, you know, I hate it. I hate when I go online, I hate when I see videos like this where, oh, this thing changed my life, man. Oh, this thing changed my life. We never know how our life is going to be affected by certain things, right? For me, has it changed my life? No, not yet. And I say not yet because we never know what's going to happen, right? We never know. We're always changing in our lives, whether it's for the better or the worse. And the book kind of also touches on that, just, way more in depth, way more in detail. But the main thing is, it's changing the way that I'm thinking about the decisions I'm making. It's changing the way that I'm thinking about life, and it's changing my perception of where I'm at right now is because of me, right? It's no shitty hand that I've been dealt. It's no, turn of bad luck. Because for the longest time, and you can ask any of my college friends, my roommates and everything, my thing was always to just tell them, oh, I have bad luck. Oh, I have the worst luck. Oh, this guy has the best luck. I have the worst luck, right? And that's how it always was. And that's bullshit. I'll just say that, luck is kind of bullshit. There was a quote from a movie, and I'm forgetting which one it was. But the main character, he said it all the time. He would say something like, I make my own luck, right? And I don't know, like, I never thought about it actually until now, like making this video, that it's like, okay, yeah, I could see what you mean, you make your own luck. Like, he probably didn't mean it in the way that I'm thinking, but you make your own luck as in the choices that you're continually doing, right, are bringing you unique opportunities that, once presented with the effort that you're putting out into the world, equal success. And if you want to look at that as luck, I mean, that's a word you can use to describe, that whole, slew of events, but that's not really what it is. So with all that said, I'm slowly trying to change my perspective on life right now. So yeah, with that said, let me go into my professional life and where I'm at right now. So without giving too much detail, right now the company that I'm working for is an Indian-based offshore tech company. They are one of the largest. I'll leave it at that, not to give too much detail again. And they client out to certain, partners, business partners, primarily banks and other financial institutions. So yeah, essentially I'm working for an Indian-based company who has cliented me towards a large financial institution here in the US. That's as broad as I'm gonna go, or I'm sorry, that's as specific as I'm gonna go. There are certain things that they're trying to restrict you from saying in terms of your involvement with, this bank. But again, I'll leave it at that. And essentially, the role that they've kind of given me is a software tester. Now, real quick, in college, I was a computer science student. I graduated, I got my bachelor's degree. I thought as soon as I graduate, all my life's problems are going to be solved. I'm going to get this crazy 6-figure job out of school. That's bullshit. I'm going to pay off all my debt in the first year with my huge fat check. That's bullshit. What else? Just my life is going to change, basically. And that's bullshit. When I got this job, I started at about half of the salary that I was expecting I was going to be getting. And again, my expectation was probably unrealistic, to be quite honest. But I still took whatever came to me. I took whatever opportunity came to me, because, quite frankly, I was lazy. And that's, again, my fault, a position that I put myself in. I could have applied to way more places. I could have applied myself a little more into my work. But the truth of the matter is, I had no real inspiration, and I'll use the word drive again. I had no drive to want to pursue this tech field. Fast forward to me getting this job. They trained me on everything. We even went back over programming, and I finally understood it. and I started to enjoy it. And then they put you on this period after training, what they called the bench, right? Now, mind you, I got my job in 2020, before COVID had taken over, right? They put you on what's known as like the bench, where they're basically just going around, they're trying to find what clients they're currently working with and what opportunities are available that they can set you up on, so you can, interview with the manager of that team or that specific institution. And, if everything goes right, you get placed on the team. So that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. I got put on this team, and I'm now working for this bank, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Not to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all. I hate the work that I'm doing. I really do. It's probably been about 2 years now being with the bank. So for the first year, I didn't touch any tech. Basically, all it was looking at Word documents, looking at these documents that they called KT, or knowledge transfer documents. And it was like, oh, well, try and understand our technologies, try and understand what we're actually doing with them, what they're used for, et cetera, et cetera. And they didn't help at all. Let me take a second. Okay. Again. So one thing about this book is they tell you to take responsibility for everything. So let me try and rephrase this in a way where I'll take the responsibility. It was my own ignorance for not being able to understand the content in the documents. So what I'm kind of getting at here, because I've already been going for almost 20 minutes, even though I've probably chopped the video up to shit now. The environment that I'm in right now, and the mind space that the job has put me in over, a year and a half, almost 2 years now, is super toxic. It's terrible. I've basically started my entire professional career in the pandemic, so there has actually been no physical contact with any of my coworkers, managers, any of that since I've started professionally. And I'm sure that's taken a huge toll on just my outlook right now. And there could have been things that I could have been doing a little better, but there's also things that I felt like I relented control. I gave the control up to, right? I don't want to say that there were things out of my control, because again, I want to try and take responsibility for everything that I can. But the things that became out of my control were because I allowed them to become out of my control, if that makes sense. So long story short, now I hate where I'm at, and probably about 3 weeks ago, I had this internal kind of conflict and conversation with myself, where I listed all the big companies, right? I said, could I see myself working at Google? No. Could I see myself working at Facebook? No. Could I see myself working for Apple? No. And I went through every company I could think of, and I went through all the roles and positions I know of. I think I even pondered some positions that I hadn't heard of before, but I looked into them a little bit, and I looked at the high-level job description, and I'm like, I don't like it. I don't think I'm into tech as much as I thought I was, right? I think what drew me towards it in the first place was the promise of these huge fat checks, which, again, don't get me wrong, they're really nice, but still not nice enough to compete in this ridiculous market. And again, that's because of me, because I'm not providing enough value to society to where they're going to warrant giving me, all this money. It's a stupid expectation to have, and you shouldn't have that. So there was that. The other thing that kind of drew me towards computer science and tech in general was just, I had this love for video games, for computer games. And I was always playing computer games, like as a kid growing up. And, so I said, well, shit, I'm on the computer all the time. I love being on the computer. Why don't I just work on computers all day? And that's fine. You can work on computers all day, but you don't have to do computer science, right? How many accountants are working on the computer all day, right? How many online entrepreneurs are working on the computer all day? How many social media influencers are working on their phones or, then transferring it over to the computer to do editing? How many editors are working on the computer all day? They're all experiences that I went through, and it's information and knowledge that I'm glad that I acquired over a longer period of time. But it's not necessarily something that you have to subject yourself to because you think, oh, well, this is the industry to get into right now. The industry to get into is the industry that's going to make you happy, right? Not just the industry that's going to make you money. You want the industry that is going to challenge you in a way where you want to solve that problem. My industry itself is really challenging. My industry has a lot of challenges that, I have to solve, and a lot of problems that I have to solve, and a lot of new technologies that I have to figure out how to actually use. A lot of people I have to get in contact with and have conversations with to be like, hey, how do I do this? Can you show me? Can you help me? But they're not problems that I want to solve. They're not problems that at the end of the day I'm feeling fulfilled and I'm like, yes, like I can see the value that I'm providing to a customer, because I can't, right? If I'm going to accept responsibility for where I'm at, I'm also going to accept responsibility for how the environment's making me feel and for the fact that I haven't done anything to get out of that environment. My goal for this channel, and I think my goal in life right now, I'll say my goal in life right now because we never know where anything is going to take us, is to try and start in e-commerce. I'm going to say that again because I feel like I didn't even say it confidently enough. My goal in life right now is to start in e-commerce. I think there's a huge potential for online sales, for marketing, and it's work that actually interests me. Just in the last 3 weeks alone, okay, reading the books and watching countless videos, tutorials, reading guides, blog posts, speaking with other people in real life, right? Being able to say I'm a business owner is way more appealing to me than working for any of the companies, even the big names that I mentioned earlier. I want to be my own boss, and I feel like I need to be my own boss. Working on my confidence is going to be the hardest thing for me, and that's fine. It's something that I know I can work on, and it's something that I think through trial and error and through going through the motions each day will help me. So what's the point I'm trying to make? I want to use this YouTube channel as an outlet. I want to use it as something that I can show my process of transitioning from where I am right now professionally, taking advice and knowledge and information that I'm learning through the material I'm reading as well as watching online. And I want to document the process of how other people can kind of transition from a career that they fucking hate into something that they love. Now, that's not even to say that I have to give up completely on computer science or the tech industry, right? Your career itself is not limited to the first company you're in. Your career is a combination, it's a culmination of all the jobs and all the companies and industries and roles and titles and everything you've been given into one unit. I'm not saying I want to stay with this company, but transitioning from the point that I'm at now to the point where I want to get at is going to be an entire journey, and the purpose of the video and the channel, I guess, is to document that journey. Maybe throughout the videos you'll see a bit of a mood change, which would be nice, or tonality change. If I'm out in public, I might even have like a change of tone. I need to break free and get out of this shell. And here's one last point that I'll touch on is just video games and online culture and all that shit, I think has slowly pushed me away from who I actually am and morphed me into maybe something that I didn't necessarily even want to become but just a more confident version of a fake self. And that's shitty, and that's shitty to think of, and I could even be completely and totally off base, because, you know, interactions I've had with online friends that I've made have been some of the best that I can possibly think of, and they have all been genuine. And I'm not saying I'm a fake person to the people that I talk to online, but the people that I talk to online, if they met me in real life, wouldn't even know I'm the same person. And that's what I'm trying to get at. That's really what I'm trying to say, is that who I am online is not who I am offline, is not who I am in real life. And that is because when I usually sit down to play a game with someone, I'm escaping from real life. And that is probably the number one thing that has led me to where I am right now, is trying to escape real life, is not focusing on the present, is not focusing on who I am or where I want to be professionally, financially, and just should I even say emotionally, just in my head, psychologically. Does that sound a little too fucked up? I don't know. So yeah, anyway, that's it. That's all I have right now for this video. You can subscribe if you want to follow the journey, if you want to see my updates, if you just want to keep typing the name in each time you're curious, oh, how is this guy doing? Whatever, it doesn't matter, because at this point it's just that, you know, I have to do this more for myself and less for others. And the only real purpose of it being online, of it being on YouTube, is so that I can reach out to the people who are in a similar situation as me, or people who don't even know that they're in that situation yet, and help them. So yeah, that's it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.